Yo, what's going on? It's DJ Crowley, and of course, Blue is in the house as well. And I have yet another intro because we have yet another special guest today, man. So, this band recently celebrated their 21st slash 22nd, somewhere in there, bandiversary, if that's even a word. After over 2 decades of ups, downs, smiles, and frowns, this band still remains standing, and now even taller, healthier, and even more successful than ever before, while still maintaining their own unique way of doing things. Their core message to spread positivity and hope, no matter the situation, continues to resonate, motivate, and reassure their listeners, fans, and I call them family, that it will be okay no matter what. The movement truly is becoming a movement. And who better to have with us to talk about it all than the brainchild behind it all, Mr. Joshua T. Swain. What's going on, dude?
What is going on? That was very nice. I like that.
Yeah, man. I don't do this a whole lot, but for the homies and people I really know, I really care about, I want to take some time to think about kind of what you guys do and what you guys are. And we got a brand new record, man. I want to talk about that here in just a second. But you guys are, well, you're not on the road currently, but you're in the middle, I guess you could say, of a wonderful run with the homies Tribal Seeds with support from Mike Love, K-Bon Cosmic. I mean, I got to open it up, man. The chat with Red Rocks, dude. You finally have your headline Red Rocks. Tell us about the Red Rocks to start it off, man. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's something that you don't ever really kind of envision that really happening. And we sort of headlined back in COVID times, but it was like a soft cap or whatever, like halfway cap. So you can't really like consider that a real Red Rocks play. And yeah, for this one, especially to have like, you know, try like bands like Tribal Seeds and Pepper to agree to like be on that bill with us as the headliner was like just real, it was an honor, for us and really nice of them. And just to have like family there and everybody to be kind of on the same page. I don't know, it was just a cool moment for us and definitely one to remember. Yeah, it's epic.
Yeah, super special, man. I was checking out the snaps and the videos and everything, and just to see, that epic, legendary place completely full for you guys headlining the event, man, is just such a massive accomplishment for you guys. I do want to talk about another date on the tour. This is a little bit of a smaller venue, but as soon as I saw it, it absolutely blew me away. And correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think it was somewhere on the Cape in Mass. It was
Mm.
a 360-degree room. So the stage was a 360 stage.
Yep.
Uh, what was that like, man? I was like, wow, man, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, we haven't either. The stage actually rotated too. So it was a rotating stage and yeah, 360-degree seating. We got there and I can't remember if we knew what it was going to be like before we got there, but yeah, we weren't like too stoked about it, because really unconventional, and like this it's harder to like set the stage up and it's weird and the sound wasn't like all that great, in the room and we didn't really know what to expect and yeah, it turned out to be yeah, the coolest show on the tour for sure. And yeah, there's just something about it. Like the sound doesn't have to be perfect all the time for a show to be memorable or like special. And I think everybody there was just really hyped, and the it being a unique situation like added to the coolness of it. So it was fun.
Yeah, that's a cool point. Just because the sound isn't like 100% perfect doesn't mean the show isn't going to be amazing. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that before. That's cool. It's a very true point.
Yeah, it's cool for the fans, and I think it's actually cool for the musicians too, to like throw something different in there from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, you are late, 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 but that's all right. We got the one, the only Joshua T. Swain of the Movement in the house. They have a brand new record, and we are going to chat about it. Visions, man. I kind of already knew that this record was going to be like record of the year in that area somewhere when So Cool and Visions came out. It was just something so very, very like just special. The music's just really great, really unique collaborations, and just badass. It was just really, really good quality movement tracks. So I was like, all right, this is going to be a banger, man. And so me and Blue were having kind of a little bit of a rough day, and we hadn't listened to it all the way through, and I was like, hey, you know what? Let's sit down and turn that shit up as loud as it goes and listen to that new record front to back. And man, it really made us feel good. Like the idea of hope and positivity. Like it doesn't matter. Like we'll figure it out. Uh, Tell us about Visions, man. What a great record.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's like kind of organic how every record comes out for us. It's you sort of try to have some planning involved around it, but it always just kind of takes its own way, and I think that's kind of like a good analogy for the way life is, as well. So it's kind of cool in that way. But yeah, I mean, we try to plan as much as possible. We went to like Virginia and cut 5 tracks, and none of those actually made it onto the record. Then we took we did some tours, and then we're like, all right, let's go to a different studio, and went there and up to Boston, and I had some ideas for some songs, I had some rough demos that I'd written, and luckily, I have Gary and Jay and Matt all sending me like rhythms all the time, and I get rhythms from other people as well. And so a lot of songs normally, like the ones we did in Virginia, a lot of them I wrote on the acoustic, and then there's some others that I'll write, in other different ways. But I think for this Visions record, all of these were, except for the last song, were rhythms sent to me by guys in the band, and that's kind of how this one came along. And yeah, when we got to Boston, we did like 25 songs or something like that. And yeah, I used like 13 or 14 of them for this one. And so we got another record coming up pretty soon. But yeah, we took a couple of them, put them on this one, and yeah, like I think that's kind of the route we'll go, is record a bunch of stuff and kind of pick what feels right. And then we were lucky enough, like we were talking about earlier, to get some really good guests on this one. And, we'll just leave like 16 bars open on and like cross our fingers and be like, this sounds good for this guy, and hopefully they'll do it. So we got really lucky, and um, our guests were super nice. But yeah, I mean, this one, thematically is not super different from the rest of them, and I think that we just try to like kind of just incorporate, how we're feeling at the time and capture a little snapshot of where we are in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I do notice about this record, I wouldn't say it's a concept record, but it really does feel like it almost has this kind of flow, story-ish that kind of rolls through it, like chapters of a book, like kind of like a concept record, but maybe not quite. I know you say that, you kind of just whatever we're feeling, we're gonna vibe and we're gonna throw that track in there from our end, and a couple of the people I've talked to actually, they're actually saying that same thing. So it's interesting to hear from people around the scene as well about it. It's just banging, dude. It's just such a good record. It's just a quality movement record. Period.
Thank
That's what it is. Yeah, I think it's one of your best too. I really do. You look at Set Sail, which is just so legendary. Ways of the World, Gold. I mean, they're all special in their own ways. This one just grabbed. It just really grabbed us on that first listen. So everybody out there, if you haven't listened, again, you're late. You got to go check out Visions, the brand new record from the movement. They are currently kind of almost getting to the end of their summer tour with Tribal and some friends as well, like Mike Love and K-Bong Johnny Cosmic and others. I do want to just touch on the collabs and everything, especially Hexam, man. We talked about it a little bit before. I've 311 is such an integral part of my existence, and I know it is of yours. And I watched that video that you put out right after So Cool came out, and you could just see it. You were so stoked, like you really were. And it's so cool to see you so stoked. And isn't it wild? Like you look at your idols, like that you used to grow up like going to see and stuff, and then all of a sudden you start working with them, and then and in your case, you kind of track with them. How wild is that, man?
It's insane. I mean, yeah, like you were saying, I mean, 311 was, you know, it's like, the top of the list, So growing up in high school, for me it was 311 was like the uh, just as famous of a band as any other band, as for me, the Beatles or whatever. Zeppelin, 311 was, I was a little naive knowing, like thinking that, in terms of like actual fame, right? But to
Same.
me, it was the same, right? So, yeah, so like now working, well, I say working. I mean, look, we had a track with Nick, right?
Right.
And super lucky. Um, and I got to share a stage with him on the cruise. Super lucky. And the timing of the cruise, I think, was really uh integral in him being on our song, right? So a lot of things lined up in the universe for him to be on it. But we've played with them back in the day and
Mhm.
didn't really get to talk to Nick. You don't really see Nick, you know what I mean?
Correct. Mhm.
Talk a little bit with Chad or Tim and see Peanut around, but it's like, Nick, he's kind of like yeah, super off in the ether. You can't really get a hold of him, right? So I don't know. It's like it was the same thing getting a tour was stupid for the first time, Kyle and Miles. It's like guys that you just model your like there's just such influences of mine. So 311, Stupid, John Brown's Body, to get to know any of those guys, like it's just such a cool thing. And yeah, I mean, we wrote a song and Gary made that rhythm for me and I love the beat. I wrote the lyrics and the theme of the song and was just like, I think Nick would kind of dig what I'm saying here and dig the vibe and
Mhm.
had the cruise coming up and yeah, it's cool.
It's worked
All
out perfectly. You're 100% right, Nick. A lot of 311 is behind closed doors. Even if you're working, they're gone. You can run into a couple of them, like you said. Nick's a tough one, man. And I don't think it's, I don't know. Like he, I just don't know him well enough. I know Peanut really well. I've interviewed Peanut many times, worked with them, essay many times. But Nick is just a difficult one to get to, and what a perfect fit for that track. It's very ethereal, and spacey, like Transistor would be.
right.
Yeah, but it's also like I don't know how to describe it. It's just perfect for Hexam. It's the perfect movement track for Hexam to be on. It just works perfectly. Just like I was saying with the record, it's just like dope. Just really great. Everything front to back, it's just perfect. I do have a quick question about your, in regards to 311. As you know, I'm a huge Monster 311 fan, and you and Trop, Rhodes from Trop, and I asked Rhodes this as well. Do you have a cool 311 story that you'll never forget?
Do I have one?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I mean, I could go back to like cool stories that I had in high school listening to 311. I mean, like for me, so much was 311, right? So like all the bands that I had in high school was like growing up listening to 311. And I don't know if I have any like cool stories. I mean, the coolest story for me, like honestly, is what just happened at this cruise. I mean, it's one thing to like somehow get Nick to um be on a track with you. And it's another thing to have him like actually come up on stage and do the song with you. I mean, I know that just from being like, you know, an artist on, performing artist for 20 years, that it's not always easy to get up on somebody's song with them while they're performing, right? Sometimes it just doesn't work out, or maybe like if you're headlining, you kind of don't want to like go up too early, or there's just things, and especially if you're a huge star like Nick and it's on his cruise, you know what I mean? It's like he didn't have to do that, right? So for him
Mm-hmm.
to actually agree to do that and to be so, well, so cool to actually do that with us, that was to me the coolest 311 story I have. And to like, for him to walk up on stage and give me a big hug and then to do the tune, I don't know, it's just mind blowing. And that's really like one of the coolest moments in general I've ever had, in all my years of performing. So yeah, that's my coolest 311 story.
It's a pretty damn good one, man. Not too many people can say that they can rock that one, man.
Right.
Hey, let's move away from 311 for a little bit. I'm sure it'll come back at some point in the 311 universe here. But if you're just tuning in, you're late. We got Josh Swain from The Movement. That's right, man. They got a brand new record, Visions, talking about So Cool, the legendary collab that Josh and the band got to do with Nick Hexum, came on the record. And then when they went on the cruise, on Nick's boat. He could have been doing a bunch of other stuff, but he decided to come up and hop on stage with the movement and sing So Cool with them, man. And that is so cool. That really is. Not a whole lot of artists will do that. You cut a track, you're right. You cut a track with them, but like, you know, sorry, there's your track, but maybe we won't do it live. But you got it live
Sure.
too. How cool is that? I do want to switch gears a little bit because this next thing is a little deeper, a little darker, but it needs to be talked about. So pretty much the reason that the movement is still a band, I would say, is because of your sobriety. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason we're still alive and still a band. So yeah, I think that, a couple of us might not be here right now and definitely wouldn't be a band. So
Yeah.
yes, you are correct.
So I want to just dive into it just a little bit for everybody out there that may be struggling with something. Tell us that moment to the best of your ability when you were like, okay, it's time to stop. What was going on? Give us a picture of what was happening, and how did you get through it?
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of those times, and then it's kind of, for me, it was a buildup of all of those times where I said, okay, it's time to stop. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So there were a lot of those moments. I had a lot of friends and family for years telling me to go to rehab, and my thing was alcohol. I mean, I dabbled in all the things, but my thing was alcohol. And I I would say I kind of started being in a band because like one of the main things for me was I would get to drink all day and all night, and that would be my job. You know what I mean? And I would just, I wanted to be like Bradley Noel, and just be fucked up and write music and whatever, and I think I could have ended up like Bradley very easily, and it's really only by luck that I didn't. And But yeah, I mean, it was a buildup of all those times that I needed, that I said, this is it, and this is too much, and da da da. And the reality is, I mean, I was becoming like non-functional. You
Mm,
know, I'd been a functional alcoholic for so long,
mhm.
and it
Yeah.
was becoming like impossible for me to function sober, or I would always need some type of alcohol or substitute in order to like just get through the minute by minute. And it gets really, really tiring, you know, it gets really hard to live that way, especially on tour. And you know, I was like starting to like have the health issues, and I couldn't really even get it together to like go to the doctor, you know what I mean? I couldn't even figure out how to like navigate dying. You know, I couldn't like get healthy. I couldn't live like minute to minute. It was just getting impossible. And it was like, you know, over 11 years now, 12 years almost, where I think I had like asked my mom if for Christmas she would pay for me to go to the doctor. To like, I was like having, I thought I was having like heart attacks every day, and like, I was like suffering these like, what I realized later were like mini seizures, like through withdrawal, like on a daily basis. And I wasn't actually having seizures, but I was like having the like beginnings of them, like while I was like starting to withdraw, like if I wouldn't have alcohol for a certain amount of time. So anyway, through all those things, it was like really becoming difficult for me to live. And you know, I had gone to jail, I got in a DUI, I quit the band, joined back with the band, and you know, things were just rough. I was bombing shows. Like I still can't believe the movement has fans, you know, after all those years of just falling off the stage and ruining shows and
Oh
forgetting how
man.
to play guitar, forgetting the
Oh,
lyrics, forgetting the songs, and people unplugging my amp, you know, and you know, it was just rough. And anyway, yeah, I mean, my mom had been begging me to go to rehab for years. I think she said, you know, I don't really want to pay for you to go to the doctor, but I'll help you, you know, go to rehab. And I was like, no, 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 no. And then it was like 2 weeks before my 34th birthday or something like that, I just was like, I can't function. You know, I
mm,
can't do anything. And yeah, I'll go. And I remember like filling out the paperwork to go to this rehab, and I couldn't even write, like sign my name. You know what I mean? Like
wow.
so like my motor skills were so messed up that I couldn't sign any of the stuff on the form.
Wow.
And my mom like had to help me do that. I got like a lot of help from Music Cares, which is this Grammy supported music supported like financial lifeline for musicians in need. So big shout out to Music Cares, and they helped pay for some of the rehab that I went to. Otherwise, I couldn't have gone. And I went to a month-long rehab and stayed sober for like about 4 years. Had a relapse, and that was kind of my story, relapsing, and you know, for a little bit, a couple weeks, maybe a month, or the first relapse was like 8 months,
Hmm.
and then had a couple after that. So in the past like 11 years of sobriety, I've had a year and a half of drinking in there, off and on. But it's a long time for me to be sober, you know, out of the last 11 years, like something years of 9.5 of sobriety. So, and yeah, it couldn't have done any of this stuff the way that I was. So it was definitely much needed.
Oh, congrats to you, man. Congrats to you for sure. I had no idea that you were 34 when you went in, man.
Yep.
Wow. That's insane. So that Sugar Shack that you guys did, it was good. It was good. I mean, I when was that compared to that?
Yeah, I mean, that was probably right before I went to
So
rehab.
right before.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Well, we're so glad you're doing good. How do you uh keep that mind state now? Is it just time? and then just learning to live differently,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
it's in front of your face all the time. Obviously, backstage. Sorry to interrupt you. You know, it's a no booze policy for your gigs. But is it? How do you go about it?
look, I tried to drink as much as I could. I like I said, those relapses were me going, I have to try to see if I can do it. Alcohol is the most precious thing on the planet to me, and I
Right,
have to try to see if I can make sure, like, because I can't be sober unless I know 100% that I can't drink.
right.
So I tried and tried and tried to drink. I did the same thing with smoking weed, and for whatever reason, my body rejected that too. I think the universe had a plan for me to be sober, and as much as I love drugs and alcohol, like I cannot do them physically and mentally for whatever reason. I just can't. And yeah, I tried. Um, like I said, I relapsed a few times and it ended immediately in like horrible failure and trips to the hospital and near death experiences within weeks of me picking up a drink. Um,
Wow.
so the last time I tried, it was a real like eye opener. Within days, I was like nearly comatose, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, well, that was my last experiment,
Mm,
and that really like showed me, I'm getting older now, and like I tried as hard as I could to drink and party. I tried to live my old life and get back to those memories, those fun times that I had in my 20s. I tried to get back there as hard as I could, and it's not working, and it doesn't work at all anymore. And that was really the kind of like thing that I needed to stay sober. And that's just with me every now. It's just a fact. Like it's as much of a fact as if I shoot myself in the head with a gun that I'll probably die. You know what I mean? And
mm,
I don't have to like test that theory anymore. You know what I mean?
mm.
There's not a
Right.
theory that I need to test. There's nothing that I need to see anymore. I've tried as hard as I could. And now I'm just a sober dude. And, honestly, like everything is so much easier, sober. And, I have the respect of people that I want the respect from, and I respect myself. And my art is a lot better, and things are smooth, and life is simple. You know what I mean? And as much as I would like to be able to do it, um, this is like, the hand that I've been dealt, and I still have a really good life and a lot of things to be thankful for. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
We're so proud of you, man.
Thanks.
So amazing, dude. What a story. And there's so many stories out there, that are, crazier or a little less crazy than that. I mean, there's just hundreds, thousands, and millions probably. Are you working with the Knoll Foundation at all?
No, and I would like to. I think 8 years ago, I did something for Kelly, or I did like I did one of the compilations I was on, and I would love to. Just I don't know. They haven't reached out, and I haven't really reached out either. So, but yeah, so super open to anything they would ever ask me to do. I would do in a heartbeat. So
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure they'd love to have you. I know they had to just close down the house, I think, recently,
really,
due to some issues. Yeah. But they're working on other projects. If you guys don't know, it's the Knoll Foundation. Bradley Knoll's family has kind of set up a foundation basically for musicians, especially who are struggling with addiction. Just check out. I'll have a link right here in edit. Hey, let's talk about something cool, man. Uh, you are really good at spitting licks. You know how to rap, and I have just I keep on like it keeps impressing me more and more and more. Like that Panda record, I can't remember which track you were on. Was it 11 Time was the record? I think it was. Uh,
Yeah,
Forgive me if I'm wrong.
Revolution.
Yeah, I mean, just everything you're doing with when it comes to spitting bars is, I mean, you're really good, dude. When did you know that you could do that, and how is it progressing throughout your career here?
Well, I think these days I try not to, actually rap as much as I can help it. Simply because I don't know. Like, thank you for the kind words, but I'm not as in agreement with you in terms of my actual rapping capability. I think I
Hmm.
can put words together pretty well, and I prefer to sing them instead of like rap them now, just because I think that my voice, for me, like the actual voicing and like I can sing like I could sing a rap, and for me, it's less cringy than if I rap a rap. So I think on the last two records, there hasn't been any actual like rapping, and that's just a choice of mine. But that being said, I mean, I have had the misfortune lately of like looking at some of my like super old like notebooks from when I was like in high school and really starting my rapping career. And I also have some like 4-track tapes as well of tons and tons of uh, very white, um, horrible rapping of mine. And the crazy thing is like, I really loved like, gangster rap back then, I was super into, and I still do. I mean, Tupac is top 5 artists of all time for me.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I listen to a lot of Pac and Biggie and like Bone Thugs and uh Master P and like a lot of my like thoughts that would come to me when I'm writing is yeah about like thug shit, and I wasn't really a thug, you know what I mean? So I still remember these raps like bars and bars are still in my head from when I was 18 years old. And there, I laugh so hard because I can still say them today and just crack up at what are you fucking talking about, dude? Like, you're such a poser. Like, what are you even saying? Like in this rap, like, so it's funny. And yeah, I think nowadays it's cool because I can kind of like, uh, write about what I actually know about, and then just sing it instead of rap it. And it feels a lot more natural to me. So
Right. Okay. So maybe I can rephrase that a little bit. Uh, Singing really, really fast. Does that make sense?
sure. Well, yeah, I mean, look, I think I read a good bit. I liked like English class when I was in
Hmm.
school, and I started writing poetry early, and I listened to a ton of rap music and fast music, fast lyrics, and they just made sense to me. And yeah, I think it's somewhat of an art form to be able to like put the right word in the right space in the sentence and also free up enough space so that you're actually physically able to say it fast. And that's a weird thing in itself that I'm kind of just learning.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just time after time trying and trying, and I think I will be better at it a year from now than I am now. You know what I mean? It's always like a learning and growing process.
As is life. I mean, I've heard it on the record in a studio, and I've heard it live, man. You're pretty damn good at singing fast. Is that like a subgenre? Is that what we're doing here? Like that's a subgenre of hip hop now, like fast singing?
I don't know anything about hip hop nowadays, so I'm still listening to old Tupac. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about new music at all. But I mean, like, Tropidelic is great at that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like he's the fastest, and he's way faster than me. And Little Stranger's great,
yeah, yeah.
and I think that I throw like 8 bars of fast in there just to like throw like a highlight on the on the phrase or on the song or on my verse, whatever. Yeah, just to switch up tempo real quick and add something interesting, but it's not like something that I would stick with for like a whole 16 or something, you know.
Interesting. All right. Josh is a fast singer. He no longer does the gangster rap.
Quit my gangsta
Oh,
phase.
you're so hard on yourself, man. I've always seen this. But I mean, hey, everybody, so what? That's you. That's how you roll, let's talk about something else really cool. Speaking of Panda, James Searl, he loves you. And he has a quote for you. He said, every moment I've spent with Josh has been calm, cool, and meaningful. I know that's cheesy and cliche to say, but he's really a great special color in my life painting. Josh is thoughtful, creative, and loves nature. Josh reflects really meaningful influence from real potent sources, and I love his love for JBB. Dude is also hilarious and drops perfect one liners like he drops hooks on the tunes. One of the better qualities of humans has made me lol many times. I love you, brother, James.
Oh, James. I love him, man. And yeah, I mean, dude, JBB like and Giant Panda are the same. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? It's like, um, I mean, Panda was like one of the first bands to take us out, and that was one of the first bands where my mouth was like hanging open watching them play. And they're still as good now as they ever were, and just meaningful. They are what I think the scene should be embracing, you know what I mean? When it comes to like American reggae music. And they should be headlining every festival that exists. And not only are they amazing performers and writers and um, models of what it should look like, but yeah, as people, just James to me is, I don't know, it's my brother. I love that guy so much, and everything that he just said, makes me melt because he's amazing. And of course, I do. I love James. He's special, man. JBB, and I keep saying JBB because it's the letters to me.
They're the same thing. Remember though, they're the
G
same thing.
P G D S.
GBGDS, yes, 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 yes. I mean, everything you just said there, 100% correct, man. They should be headlining each and everything in the entire universe right now. They are so, so good. This past record was mind-bogglingly good. And I remember when I was living up in Mass, you guys were on tour. I think it was like 20, oh man, like 17, 18, 19, something like that. You guys were on a run with Panda and Clinton Farron, and you guys did Paradise Rock Club, and every single act was just perfect. You guys put on one of the best shows I've ever seen you put on, in my opinion.
Wow.
It was just so. It was one of the first times too that I saw you guys uh, take a. It felt like you guys took a major step up stage production wise, with lighting and Goody coming in and doing all that. I think right,
Yeah.
and just the pure excellence on stage from every single band, including the movement, including Clinton Farron and of course Giant Panda, and so unique. Each different band so unique, yet all homies, and just so special. That was a special night. I'll never forget that one.
Yeah. What a
Yeah,
tour.
yeah. I'd love to see you guys do that. Just like do a repeat of that tour again. That would
It
be
happened.
so cool.
I would love that.
Absolutely. Hey, we got a couple more here. We're gonna get you out of here, Josh. If you guys are just tuning in, you're late. You're late. Yeah, that's what I say. But yeah, you're late. You should have been tuning in. It's okay, but we got Mr. Josh Swain of the Movement in the House. Brand new record, Visions, is available everywhere. You guys are doing wax, right? You got vinyl out?
I think it like just got approved this week, so it should be out, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Maybe.
It's ready. It's being pressed.
Yeah, and get the vinyl, man. Vinyl's final, as Hemper Sativa told us, man. We love that. We are such huge vinyl fans. We got
Yeah,
Golden right there, Ways of the World.
I
Yeah.
think we have like a limited edition coming out as well. So there's gonna be like two separate pressings.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right, so let's move on here. Just a couple more. We're gonna get a little deeper, but first, I want to talk about my personal favorite track that you guys have ever made. It's called Rescue. I want to talk about that track for a second. Uh, it rescued me, and then after I felt like I was rescued in a way, basically feeling better because it's all good, as you guys say. Uh, you got to figure it out. Um, After I felt better, I found myself showing my friends who were not doing good that track. And like it would only be in
Mm.
my car because like that foot on the gas and I've been pumping my foot and taking lights in my car and making light shows with them and by the end of the song I was like, so how you feeling? They're like, better. And that is what a good fucking song is right there. That can almost, you're not just listening to it, and you're not just feeling it. Something is happening to you
Mm.
that resonates past just listening and feeling. Do you know what I mean
Mm.
by that? uh, I think what was the other song we were talking about the other day? Very rare. Elemental Beat. One of their new tracks. I absolutely love them so much. It goes beyond the listening and then the feeling. The feeling is good. I mean, if you feel the music, that's super powerful. But if it actually does something to you, like, and then it like changes your life in a way, or a different frequency is happening in the universe after that, that causes causation to maybe something positive to happen.
Right.
That is good fucking art, Josh.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, tell me about Rescue just real quick. I know we don't have a whole lot of time.
I, I think it's a favorite of a lot of our fans. I think would say that's their favorite. It's unfortunate that like when we play it live, like it doesn't feel good. There's something in the flow that's like stopping us from playing it live. But we want to put it in the set like so hard. So we're gonna try to like figure out what it is that we don't love about it live and try to make sure that we can fit that in the majority of sets from now on because we do. Why didn't you play Rescue? Why didn't you play Rescue? We get that all the time. But yeah, the song, I mean, that was like right out of rehab. Golden was the first record I made sober. It was, I mean, the record that we side by side, the record that we put out before Golden, I mean, I was literally like drinking, straight vodka in between takes, and like right and like the world's worst, cheapest vodka,
Ooh,
a half gal, just plastic bottle to the lips and
ooh,
spit in a verse and then, spit in a verse, chug, spit a verse. And every song was just me at my drunkest, and
ooh.
that's why like side by side sounds the way that it does. We didn't do any edits on that record. We didn't go back and change anything or no, we don't remember like who really like did anything on it. I wasn't really there. It's just weird. It's just a blur, you know what I mean? So, for that being said, to go like from that to doing Golden, we had like Danny Calv and Matt Goodwin come in
Right.
for that. And really, and Rescue, I think was maybe the first track that we did on that record, and um, just felt different. And I was now able to like write about recovery. And I think that was the first song that I wrote about it. And that's when, things that I wrote about started to have like a real meaning to me, and I was able to start to share like actual experiences and things that were important to me instead of just writing about trash is, basically. So I think that's why it hits home is because it actually it hits home to people if it hits home to the creator, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So it meant something to me, and I think that's why it means something to other people. I really think that's kind of something that I struck upon during the making of that record was write stuff that means something to you and write about your own life and what you're going through and what really matters to you. And I think that if the subject matter is genuine, then it comes across in a different way than if it's not. And I think that's why that song resonates. And yeah, it's a song about recovery and your people helping you get through and just the experience of like coming out of a bad situation and kind of finding your way.
Yeah, I appreciate you going into that one. It's just, it's super wild how, like, what music can do, and what maybe we don't know yet, all the things that it can do. Because I used to always just like listen to it, right? And then I started, okay, now I can feel it, the good shit. I can start feeling the music that's really good. And then recently, I've been thinking about shit, and that song popped up when another Elemento beat, among very few other tracks that we love and cherish, came up. It's a rare thing, but like it can actually like help change the world or some shit. It's pretty cool. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Speaking of the world and the universe, over at Montana State Hemp Fest, you said, what I've learned over many years of fucking up over and over and over and over again is that it usually gets better whenever I'm way down somehow, whether it's friends, family, higher power, the universe, maybe, nature, things will get better. And remember this, too shall pass. Is that a 311 hit right there before we go into the actual question here?
This too shall pass. Yeah, they did write a song called that, right?
Uh-huh.
That was the song on, was it
Oh man.
Evolver?
Nah, this too shall pass. You're right. I think, ooh, Josh, knocking it out. I think that is right. This too shall pass. That was on Evolver.
But
But
that's,
yeah,
it's definitely an AA thing. So
yeah, yeah. And then the final word on that was just hold on. So I just want to get deep with you here.
yeah.
The universe and nature. I hear you talk about it a lot, a lot. What do you think is going on?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question that I've been asking for a long, long time. And lately, I'm kind of getting to where the question is really kind of a waste of time in a lot of ways. So there's a lot of like meditation, uh like Sam Harris kind of stuff where the question itself is like a waste of time to ask because you'll never get the answer. You'll never know why are you sitting there wasting your time asking the question. What's going on? What's going on?
Mhm.
So, there's a lot of like back and forth for me in philosophy and meditation and um where like the whole uh act of philosophizing is really a waste of time, and meditation is like realizing that the things that you're doing are pointless. Like there's a lot of like backtracking, doing harm and then coming through it, and like doing harm psychologically and coming through it. And uh a lot of meditation for me is like almost like could be negative when you view it in terms of like everything is pointless sort of mindset, right? That being said, a long way around to get to the point of your question. I have no idea what's going on, and I go back and forth a lot. But what I think probably is happening, and one of the reasons I think this is to explain the problem of suffering and pain, right? Why is there suffering and why is there pain in a world which potentially could have been created without that, right? If you can create a world with happiness and joy and love, why not just make it that way? Also, why do we have to eat? Why do we have to sleep? Why do we get diseases? Why do we, why is it so horrible? Why is life so hard to survive and get through? What is the point? Yeah, what are we doing here? Why is it like this? And the kind of thing that I started to like come around to is that, and this is not my philosophy, it's a lot of deep thinkers have come to this conclusion, is that everything is one thing, and separation is an illusion. That's a big thing in Buddhism. Separation is an illusion. We're all one, all is one. That's a famous quote. And I really think that's true. We can't see it, because we're separated by our ego, and our ego tells us that was created for that specific purpose, to give you um, that feeling that you are this separate thing. Because I think what is going on is that whatever the one thing is, the one consciousness is, I think it is capable of experiencing all emotions, the entire range from the purest evil to the purest love,
Mm.
because they are things that exist. I don't know if there was a creator of things or if things just exist without there being a creator. But I could talk about this forever, as you can see. But what I think is that the the creator, or consciousness itself, it's like being a magician and looking and watching another magician perform a trick. You can't enjoy that because you already know what's happening, right?
Mm.
So in order for consciousness to be able to experience itself, it, because it knows what's going on, it can't experience itself without having essentially like an avatar with an ego. And the ego blocks itself from knowing that it is itself. In other words, it's able to experience through us what it is.
Mm.
And so here we are, these creatures who are really just part of the one, but we have an ego so that consciousness itself can experience itself without knowing that it is itself. And I think that's what we are. We're just these balls of consciousness and energy that are created so that the universe can experience itself.
Yeah.
And that explains all the pain and all the suffering, because it doesn't matter. Like, really, um, it, we think it matters, right? But in the end, like, death is really just like a droplet of water, like going back into the ocean. I think they say that on White Lotus on the last
I've
season or something.
heard that lately a lot, actually, too. That just we go back, you know,
Yeah, we're
into
separated right
one,
now.
into
And
one.
we think that we're separate, we think we're separate from everything. But like, I'm also really interested in like quantum mechanics and quantum physics.
Absolutely.
What
Yeah.
is at the smallest part of you?
Hmm.
If you go down into every nucleus of every atom, and even if you're trying to start to break down what a quark is,
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yep.
yeah, you
Yep.
suddenly realize that literally everything is only one thing.
Hmm.
Physically, it's only one thing, right?
Very
So when you
true.
break down the smallest amount of matter, there's nothing everything is literally one thing vibrating at different frequencies and attaching itself in different arrangements.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing at a conscious level. So everything is one thing when you talk about matter, and also when you talk about consciousness, it's all the same thing as well. So this whole thing that we're separate and special and different is just a
Bunch of
uh,
bullshit.
illusion. Yeah. Sure makes
Uh,
for some good.
dude, great points there. Really great points. I think consciousness is the key for sure. I think that is, I think whatever extraterrestrial intelligence or whatever is happening or whatever it may be, whether it's ET or whatever, I think consciousness is in charge of the show somehow. I don't know what the hell it is, but I wonder if me and you and Blue and in our lifespan, I feel like I've been researching a lot. I'm sure you have too. We're getting close to some answers on some shit, but will they ever give us like the answer? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I doubt it. I think that I mean, you can see with the more answers you get, the more questions start to develop, and then you
Uh-huh.
need more answers to go to those, and more questions develop when you get those answers. I mean, you can look at now what's happening with James Webb, and they're finding that basically the Big Bang is not what they thought, you know.
Really?
These galaxies are, yeah, there's galaxies that are fully formed after only a couple 100,000 years, supposedly after the Big Bang, which they're not supposed to happen for billions of years or so. You know,
Oops.
it's essentially what they're saying is they're finding the remnants of another universe that existed before the Big Bang. I mean, so there's more answers now that we've answered that question. So like it just
Right.
keeps going. The problem is right now, like humans, we think that we're super evolved, right? What do we have? A couple 100,000 years of evolution, and it's the blink of an eye. We're little, uh, we're relatively stupid, um, in terms of understanding like how many dimensions there probably are, right?
Right, right, right.
Can't comprehend what infinity is or what time and space truly are. I mean, there's
Mm,
an experiment I could show you right now that the idea that we have of what space is completely broken. We don't understand. I mean, the fact that, trying to just explain gravity is impossible really to our brains. That's why it's just a theory. We can't understand how a three-dimensional space can behave like a two-dimensional space. And
mm,
I've heard that there's anywhere up to 11 to 32 dimensions, that have been proposed. And then when you take the idea of time, these things that are really fundamental to our lives, we simply don't even have any clue what they are.
mm-hmm.
So in that respect, like we're kind of just these dumb mammals, we're not that far. Even we think we're like so brilliant, right?
We're
But
not. We're not at
not
all. You're
even
right.
close. Not
Yeah.
even close. And
Right.
who's to say if humans survive another 10,000 years or something like
Mm,
that we can get closer and closer. But I think the reality of the structure of our
mm.
brain is formatted really to not be able to understand what's happening.
Right.
Might take, millions or billions of years of human evolution to develop some type of apparatus which allows us to comprehend the reality of what's happening.
Yeah, we'll be dead as fuck.
Yeah.
And our conscious ball like floating around in the universal ocean. So it'd be great. That's a cool answer. Thanks, dude. I don't get deep with people like on random shit, but I just wanted to do it with you because I could feel some shit. I don't know. I just feel I just kind of feel people out, you know. And
Yeah, and I
I've
mean,
known people, and some people don't want to talk about that shit, but some people do. I love talking about it. I didn't know about that James Webb shit. I gotta check that out.
yeah, check it out. It's really changing like what the original model was of really the beginning of
Wow.
the universe. Yeah, they're like,
Mm.
oh, okay, we're wrong.
Oopsie.
Sorry.
Hey, we got to get this thing that we like to call the Chattersation with Jo- Joshua T. Swain out of the way here. Real quick, let's plug it up. It's at the Movement Vibe, right? The movementvibe.com. Is that correct? Wonderful. And what you got coming up?
We've got the vinyls coming out. We've got the Tribal Seeds Johnny Cosmic K-Bong tour starts in like a week. August 26th, I think. And then yeah, this Visions tour starts in November as well. And we got cool stuff like, Closer to the Sun happening in January, and we'll have another tour happening. And man, we'll probably have another record out next year, if not the year after that. So everything's coming.
Wonderful, man. Two quick ones, then we're out of here, I promise. Blue had a really cool question. You toured all over, man. What is the smallest, most ordinary moment on the road that actually felt bigger than any other stage, tour, huge accomplishment, etc.?
Mm.
Good one, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I probably have to take a while to actually pinpoint something like that. But I mean, a quick answer is like, you know, we try to like come to the front of the stage, and talk to people after the show. And, doing the same thing every night is like, you can kind of lose any like importance out of it, any special, but just, you're kind of just going through the motions, doing the same thing. And then even like songs can lose their potency, where play the same song so many times and you might not even like it anymore or whatever. And
Oh, 100%.
yeah, you just, but to have like any fan or, you know, somebody at VIP or, just any little moment where somebody says like, hey, the song really, really changed my life, or yeah, basically that. And it
Yeah.
happens not too frequently, but it does happen. And you can kind of, for me, it's like reaffirming and like reassuring me that like I'm actually doing something that's like not just this egocentric shit. The reason that I started this was just to party and, and do drugs and, oh, okay, like there's actually like a actual reason to do this, and it
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
does change people. And so yeah, anytime someone says something like that, it really hits home, and it's these little small moments that make it worth it. It's not the big stuff, because that just passes by so fast,
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. Hey, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, man. Good to catch up. Forgot how fucking hilarious you are. I forgot. Well, I mean, James was telling me that last time I was texting him. He's like, you know how funny he is, right? He's gonna fuck with you on the internet. And I was like, you know what? I do kind of remember very vaguely this kind of dry sense of humor that I absolutely love, man. It's good to see you healthy, good to see you happy. This record kicks fucking ass. So keep making music and making people come up to you and say, "Hey, this changed my life," because shit does, man. And then we're just a ball of little consciousness, and we'll go float into the universal ocean, right?
That's right, man.
Yeah. What does reggae mean to you? Then we're done.
What's that?
What does reggae mean to you? And then we're done.
What does reggae mean to me? I'm not sure. I really don't know what reggae means to me. You know what I mean? It's like I wasn't like raised on reggae,
Right.
and reggae wasn't my first type of music that I loved or what got me into playing music. Even like a band like Sublime, which is kind of what taught me like to sort of start to play music, wasn't a reggae band, and I definitely wouldn't say that the movement is a reggae band by any means. And there's
Right.
maybe one song that could be classified as a reggae song on this record.
Mm-hmm.
So reggae music to me means a lot, but it doesn't. It really is not a very good genre to describe the type of music that we play, right? And I don't think it really fits for a lot of the bands in our scene. But this kind of hybrid of, yeah, hip hop and rock and reggae music and um, it's sort of the like kind of, I would love to like have punk influences, but I don't. But like that was like kind of the start of it with Sublime and incorporating Jamaican music into our music. So like that whole incorporation means everything to me because that's kind of what, like if we were a band that was like had to be classified on Spotify as alternative, I think we get lost, lost in that shuffle of how many bands there are. We've been lucky enough to be put into the like reggae category in a lot of this stuff, which has allowed you to like get to number one on the Billboard charts and number one on the
Mm.
iTunes charts and be invited to these uh, very niche festivals like Reggae Rise Up and Cali Roots um, and be included in this scene that includes bands like 311 and Sublime, which were my favorite bands, when I started actually playing music. So that like subgenre means everything to me. And what it means to me is like the ability to like live a free life and not have to do what I normally would have had to have done, which is have a job. And I've had many jobs, don't get me wrong. You know, we're barely able to support ourselves financially on this music, even now after this long. But yeah, I mean, it's allowed me to live to live a free, to live free. So yeah, what does it mean to me? It means freedom, and I'm very appreciative that this exists. Um, Otherwise, like yeah, I'd
Hey,
be a different person.
every single answer is always different, and that is probably one of the most unique answers I've ever gotten out of probably almost 100 people throughout our scene. The way I look at it is, yeah, it's not traditional reggae music, but it's our family. You know, it's kind of where we reside,
Hmm.
and that's just what I love about it, man. It's good to see you, dude. Keep on doing your thing, making people laugh, and keep me up to date on this James Webb shit. All right,
Yeah, go check it out, man. It's pretty mind blowing.
I will, man. Peace and love. Keep crushing it. All
Thanks,
right.
bud.
See you,
All right,
dude.
thank you guys.